Hey everyone, Geoffrey here, and in this video I'm going to show you the 4 reasons why your relationship is falling apart and what you can do to fix it or to avoid it. And if you want to empower yourself with the skills and the knowledge to transform and improve your relationship, then subscribe to this channel and click that bell button to be notified when I post new videos 5 days every single week. So we all know that things like a lack of communication or having too many arguments, having the lack of intimacy, or having conflicting goals can really drive you apart, can really make your relationship fall apart. But in this video, I'm going to go one step deeper than that. And I'm going to show you the root causes, the 4 root causes of why relationships fall apart and what you can do to stop it. The first mistake that people make is blaming issues with their partner or whatever it is to issues of character instead of environments or situation. So whenever your partner does something bad, whether they get angry, whether they get impatient, they get lazy, whatever it is, the first thing we say is something like, "Oh, you're so angry. You have some anger issues. That's who you are. You're just lazy. Why are you so lazy?" So we instantly blame their character when something goes wrong. But once you blame character, you are setting off this really bad cycle. For one, when you blame your problems on character, it makes you feel overwhelmed because character is really hard to change. If you're convinced that your partner's anger issue is because of character or they're just very narcissistic, if you're assigning all those things to character, then it overwhelms you because you're going to think, wow, that character is just so hard to change. Now I have to live with this person because that's just how my husband is. That's just how my wife is. And you cannot foresee any time in the future, anytime soon, where their character will change because you're assigning it to character. And the second reason why this is really bad is it really perpetuates a very bad cycle. So imagine right now if your partner says to you that you're stupid, that you're lazy, that you have all these things wrong with your character. What happens? Instantly, your guard goes up, your defenses go up. And usually if you're doing this to your partner as well, whenever you blame their character, then you're also going to get their guards way up. And what happens then? They get very defensive and they tend to perpetuate the blame on you too. So you might say, "Hey, can you please stop being so lazy? Can you please stop being so angry?" And they say, "Well, you're lazy too. You're angry too." And it perpetuates this blame game that just never ends well. So what can you do instead? Well, what I tell my clients is you should always blame systems, blame environments, blame situations, not people. And so the questions you should always be asking is, what is causing my partner to be angry? What is causing my partner to be emotionally unavailable? There's something there. Whether it's something in the relationship or something external to a relationship, maybe it's their childhood, whatever it is, something is causing them to be that way. And once you do this, 2 very interesting things happens. Number 1 is that it calms you down, big time. So to give you an analogy that is easy for you to understand here, imagine you're driving a car and you see this driver in front of you just weaving through traffic, going at 110 miles an hour and going really fast. And is just driving like a dick. You can think 2 things here. The first thing you can think is, you can think about how much of an asshole he is. So you can think about how bad of a character he has. So in that situation, you are assigning that asshole driving to an issue with character. Or you can think about, I wonder what is going wrong that he's in such a rush. And so in that point in time, you are assigning the reckless driving to an issue of situation, to an issue of circumstance. Now take these 2 responses. Which one will make you more calm? I bet the second one will make you a lot more calm. So the first benefit to assigning issues with a relationship to an issue of situation or environment is that it calms you down. And the second benefit is it really externalizes the issue. So it's no longer something very personal. And when you externalize something, you can let your guards down and you can stay calm. And this can often lead to a lot of understanding, a lot of compassion, and usually much better solutions. So how this works in real life is that usually when my partner is really angry, for example, I'm not going to say, "Hey, you need to control your anger issues. You have some anger issues." I'm going to say, "Why are you so angry? What's making you so angry? Tell me more." And once that happens, her guard goes down and we can start investigating the issue. And usually when we come to the root, we find some solutions. And so that's how the healthy couples do it, and that's how you should do it as well. The second mistake people make is victimization. And what is victimization? This is when you're playing victim, basically. You are basically the victim of something that is outside your control. It could be your partner, it could be bad luck, but basically you're saying my relationship is this way because of my partner, because of something that is outside my control. So you give yourself all these excuses of why you're in this situation today. And what I always say to people in this situation is that lame people blame people. Because when you blame people, blame outside things for your problems or how unhappy you are or how bad your relationship is today, it makes you feel good because the blame is not on you. But the thing is, every single time you blame something outside your control like this, you are giving away your power. You're saying to yourself that you don't have the power to fix it. Because how can you have the power to fix it when it's not really your fault? It's the government's fault. It's your partner's fault. It's like Lady Luck's fault. It's not your fault. So if it's not your fault, then you can't do anything about it. Just imagine, for example, that you're playing pool and you're not making any of your shots. You're doing really badly. And you say, oh, look at that table. It's just slanted in this like ever so slightly, and that's why I can't make shots. Or maybe it's the light. The light is way too bright and it's blinding me. I can't see the ball, I can't see the table, and that's why I'm missing my shots. Now imagine if that's your attitude to playing pool. Are you ever going to do well? Are you ever going to seek solutions? Are you ever going to improve yourself to adapt and to actually do better under that circumstance? No, because you're too busy blaming things outside your control. And the same thing in relationships. If you keep blaming things outside your control, you're never going to take control. You're never going to seek solutions because why would you if it's not even your fault? And what the good couples do is they take control. They take personal responsibility. So they humble themselves. They really get off their high horse and they always ask the question, what can I do better? How does this apply to me? How can I do better? Not what can my partner do better? What should my partner do better? So a lot of people, for example, when they get advice about relationships, so for example, I give you the advice of, a good relationship is two people who can create safety for each other, safety to express and everything like that. But if you're victimizing yourself, the first thing you're going to think is not, how does this apply to me? But you're going to think, how can my partner give me more safety? So it's a completely different paradigm of thinking here. And usually when you have your thinking in this way, when you take responsibility in this way, you will actually find some solutions. And you will actually start to empower yourself to start fixing your relationship and turning things around. But as long as you're victimizing yourself, you're never going to find any solutions, but you're going to be stuck in this cycle of blame and just woe is me kind of attitude. So leave a comment below. When you think about your relationship, what are you blaming that is outside of your control? Maybe you're blaming your partner's anger issues. Maybe you're blaming some bad luck or whatever it is. What are you blaming for the state of your relationship right now? And what can you do to start taking responsibility, start taking control? And what questions should you be asking yourself? So leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And the third reason why relationships fall apart is that they're not able to break that cycle of issues. So for most couples, this is how they work. So whenever their partner is angry, they respond by getting angry. And whenever their partner is disrespectful, they get disrespectful as well. Whenever their partner becomes difficult and stubborn and defensive, they also get stubborn, difficult, and defensive. But understand that in your relationships, there's this cycle that's going on between the two of you. Regardless of what your partner does, you have the option to either perpetuate that cycle or break that cycle. And if you just choose to react badly, then all you're doing is just perpetuating the cycle and just making things worse. You're causing more pent-up shit to form. And so just by you not being able to break the cycle, you can really create more negative cycles and intensify the issues in your relationship to the point where it gets really hopeless. So what do good couples do? Well, good couples, they see themselves as leaders. And they see that relationships not as made up of individuals competing for attention, competing for happiness, whatever, but they're one unit. So to understand this one, imagine right now that you have a company and you have your business partner that's working for you and they're really, really struggling. And they're really struggling to do a good job. They're really struggling to understand the concepts. What do? Well, if you're a good leader, what you're going to do is you're going to just set aside your own ego. You're going to set aside the fact that, hey, you might have to be the one that actually does some work here to get your partner up to speed. Because it's all for the sake of this company, for this one unit. Well, in good relationships, couples think the same way too. In bad couples, what they think about is, well, why do I have to be respectful? Why do I have to be calm? Why do I have to initiate sex when my partner doesn't want to initiate sex? And so this attitude is preventing them from really breaking that cycle there. But in good relationships, they see themselves as leaders and they see the whole relationship as a unit. So they want to break the cycle because they think that if I break the cycle, if I stay calm when they're angry, if I stay patient when they're disrespectful, they're choosing to break the cycle because they understand that the easier they make it for their partner, the easier they make it for themselves as well. And what's funny too is that when you think like this, you'll be geared towards finding solutions, and usually you will break that cycle. So you will break that anger issue, you will break the cycle of disrespect, you will break the cycle of the lack of intimacy eventually. But as long as you have the bad mindset of perpetuating the cycle over and over again, then you are never going to turn your relationship around. And that's why your relationship or your marriage is falling apart, because you can never break the cycle, and you can never break the cycle because you're having the wrong attitude. And point number 4 here, this one is very, very important, is forcing things to happen. So for example, their partner doesn't want to be open anymore. They don't want to be transparent anymore. Their partner is very disrespectful. Their partner doesn't want to have sex. What a lot of people do is they force those things to happen. So they force their partner, can you please be more transparent? Just tell me, just spit it out. Can you show me more respect? Can you please show me more respect? And you must admire me. You are my wife, you are my husband, you have to admire me. Or they say, you know what, we haven't had sex in a month, we need to have sex now. Sex is very important, we need to figure out a way to have sex. But what people don't understand here is that love is a very emotional thing. And when you force someone to do something like this, you may logically get them to do something, but you can never emotionally get them to do something. So what happens is they logically get it. They logically want to do it. They logically maybe try to have more sex with you, or they logically try to respect you more and so on. But because their heart is not in it, it can never last long. And so they're using all this willpower to do it. And so in a week, in 2 weeks time, they stop doing it. And when they stop doing it, it makes you usually very mad, very hopeless. Then you force your partner even more, and the cycle perpetuates even more. A good example of this is respect. So imagine you have a colleague or your friend, and they come to you and they get really mad and say, you must respect me. You must admire me. Would them doing that actually make you admire them and respect them more or less? Logically, you'll get it. Logically, you'll get it that they want you to respect them and admire them more, but emotionally, it will actually make you respect them less. Well, when you force your partner to have more sex with you, to admire you more, to be more transparent, you're giving them the same effect. And what you need to do instead is not force their partner to do something, but actually create the right environment to where it's easy for them to be transparent. The right environment for them where it's easy for them to admire you and the relationship. And the right environment to where it's easy for them to want sex, to organically and naturally want sex. So you never want to force anything, you want to let everything grow naturally. Now, if you want to learn the skills to understand how to grow these feelings naturally, then you want to get access to my 4-day training series. And this 4-day training series will tell you the 5 most important factors in your relationship and how you can build it from the ground up naturally and slowly. So you never have to force yourself or your partner to do anything in the relationship, but things will just come a lot more naturally. So if you want access to that 4-day training series, then click the link in the description box below this video and you can get access to that. And if you want a space where you can ask your questions about your relationship right now, if you're having some other issues, then you also want to access our secret Facebook group where you can actually post your question and get good advice on it. And if you want to access our Facebook group, the link is also below this video. And leave a comment below. When you watch this video, what other questions do you have? Is there something that I didn't address in this video? So leave a comment below, would love to hear your thoughts. And in the meantime, always remember that you have the power to transform your relationship by yourself. So never underestimate your own power here. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.